Hi, my name is Pete Behrens, and on behalf of the Agile Leadership Journey, I'd like to introduce you to some of our programs. Today I think most organizations are pressured to be more adaptive and innovative, and yet I believe are struggling to do so. In fact, for about 30 years, I myself have been on this journey. For about 15 years as a leader in organizations, and then more recently, in the last 15 years, as a certified Scrum coach and educator, guiding other leaders on this journey. And through that experience, I've come to realize that it's not usually the teams that are struggling to become more adaptive and innovative, but yet it's the leaders and their organizations that are creating, in a sense, a limiting factor for the teams trying to do so. What I've seen is as leaders seek to increase agility in their organizations, they often run into a ceiling that they cannot break through, and then returning back to the status quo. So it's through my experience in helping leaders break through the ceiling that in 2011, I created a leadership curriculum to help leaders navigate this journey for themselves. This curriculum has been taught to over 5,000 leaders around the globe, and today we have over 25 guides who are also teaching and coaching to this same curriculum. Our team helps leaders essentially see, understand, and raise the ceiling to increase the innovation and adaptivity of their organization to improve their business outcomes. We have two primary channels to help build leadership competency. The first is our awareness workshops. These are high-intensity engagements, typically 1 to 3 days in person or 1 to 4 weeks online. The intent of these workshops is to essentially inspire and even awaken leaders to a new journey. The second channel is what we call our practice programs. These are lower intensity 6-month engagements meeting weekly. Through these practice programs, leaders build competency through practicing the tools that we introduce in the awareness workshops. In these longer practice programs, similar to our online awareness workshops, we build small cohorts that work together, supported by a guide to help each other on this journey. Guiding both the awareness workshops and the practice programs is our leadership compass. Now, most leaders tend to bias towards aligning the organization to accomplish business goals. Essentially, we call this the organizational action quadrant. Our program helps leaders understand how their own thinking and their own behaviors impact the organizational alignment and effectiveness towards those goals. Often leaders find their well-intentioned efforts are actually impeding their business goals and their own growth as a leader. In essence, we don't teach agile methods to leaders. We're teaching leadership to enable agile ways of working. This is a key differentiator we hear from leaders who have joined us on this journey. Now, looking at the leadership compass more closely, the top half is focused on the leader and how they think and how they behave, and how upgrading both of those will not only increase the leader's competency, but also the organizations they serve. On the thinking side, we don't just teach servant leadership. We introduce a new leadership development framework that introduces the stages of expert, achiever, and catalyst. Leaders often find what they have been taught about leadership, as well as what they aspire to achieve as a leader, turns out to be a false summit, something that's limiting their growth as a leader and their effectiveness in driving organizational change. We introduce a new summit called Catalyst Leadership. Catalyst leaders are more effective at driving organizational change in highly complex and fast-paced environments. But we don't stop there. We provide specific tools for leaders to learn and practice. In fact, one of the things we hear from leaders often going through our program is they've often been told what not to do. Don't micromanage. Don't tell people what to do. Where what we're teaching is teaching catalyst skills and what to do. We talk about new catalyst habits. We talk about leadership focus and how that impacts others around them. And in fact, we talk about everyday conversational tools to engage and empower other people in the organization that both increase the leader's capacity as well as the capacity of the organization. The top half of the leadership compass is focused on a term we call microculture. That means shaping the culture around the people that we engage with on an everyday basis. The overall program is uses a term we call shaping culture for agile ways of working. And it combines this microculture, something every leader can do, with the macroculture, where we start getting into the broader organizational systems, the lower half of the compass, where we impact the overall values and the organizational value delivery. So why do we focus so much on culture? Well, for the past 10 years, culture has been identified as the top impediment towards organizations attempting to be more adaptive and innovative. Essentially, culture is the ceiling that's limiting organizational growth. And so it's through these tools of microculture and macroculture that we're teaching leaders that enables them to raise this ceiling. On the lower half of this compass, we start to demystify culture, essentially helping leaders understand the values of the organization and their alignment, and essentially the bias that occurs in every organization that's likely impeding and sometimes enabling agile ways of working. But then we take it just a step further and we start to identify the structures, the policies, and the measures in the organization that end up becoming the key levers to start to shape culture towards a new desired way of working. To this end, we explore some case studies of other organizations who have leveraged their awareness of culture and then modified their structures, their policies, and their measures to improve their business outcomes. Finally, we provide leaders with a concrete set of tools to move beyond traditional change initiatives. Our focus is on aligning the organization, co-creating change to help equip the organization to move through the transition and create ownership in the process, not just with leaders, but across the entire organization. To learn more about the Agile Leadership Journey, our community, our guides, and our programs, I encourage you to visit agileleadershipjourney.com. We offer public awareness workshops and practice programs for individual leaders, as well as private engagements where we customize Agile leadership development curriculum and programs for your organization. So I look forward to seeing you on the Agile Leadership Journey.